good on television, Alex, so that's all right then, isn't it?
So what's happening in England? I mean, I do see your party and others really starting to gain ground. The people are slowly but surely, at least from afar, and of course you see that from afar here in the U.S., are starting to get it.
To an extent, what's happened recently is that they've disengaged. And they need to re-engage. The polls that we have now are very low. People have stopped bothering to turn out. And that's what we've got to change round. We've got to get people, they've started to not vote for the main parties, but we need to turn that voting in a positive way for parties who are offering something else. And I'm quite sure this happens in America. When I go on the stump talking to people, they agree with everything I say. They say, Godfrey, that's absolutely first class, agree with everything you say. And I say, well, can I rely on your vote at the election? They say, sorry, no, I always vote Conservative. Or Labour. You need a new party, and we've got to get your country out of it, because the new world has to lead us through this, to be honest.
All right, going back
people
briefly,
have got to stop voting Republican and Democrat as a matter of habit.
Absolutely, because that power structure is fully corrupt. But going back here briefly as we go to break, you say you were pulled aside, and I've had other members of the European Union Parliament on who've been openly rebuked. The former leader of your party, told to shut up. They get to call him names, Nigel Farage, but he can't even expose their fraud. And you're saying you were pulled aside and said and told to shut up. I mean, how undemocratic is that?
Yeah, it's quite extraordinary, isn't it? And the same people that took me aside and asked me to sort of calm down in these chambers of debate, which is, I thought, what politics was all about, are the same people who go back to London pretending, that they're batting for Britain. But of course, people will always, it's tribal. Politics is tribal. It's the same probably with Republicans and Democrats. It's sort of tribal. People always revert to type. And we get the politicians we deserve, in the end.
Stay there. That's key. It's like the Cowboys versus the Redskins, or, with your soccer teams, the two big teams against each other. They want to feel like they win by going with the winner.
Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the global elite are now storing non-hybrid seeds in secret storage vaults near the Arctic Circle? Did you know that in a real meltdown, non-hybrid seeds can become more valuable than silver or gold? It's true, seeds have outperformed even gold and silver before in this country, and it's possible that could even happen again. So our friends at Solutions from Science have put together the perfect mix of non-hybrid seeds. They call it a survival seed bank, and it can produce an endless supply of nutrient-dense food for you and your family. And here's the best part. These seeds have not been genetically modified in any way, and you actually get enough seeds to plant a full-acre crisis garden. So visit them today at survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com, or give them a call at 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365. Remember, in a real crisis, non-hybrid seeds are the ultimate barter item. This is Alex Jones for survivalseedbank.com.
When you hear the words water purification, what comes to mind? If it's Berkey Water Purification Systems, this message is for you. Did you know that over 60% of municipal water contains fluoride at less than 2 cents per gallon? Berkey water filters purify treated and untreated water, remove dangerous chlorine, fluoride, and contaminants from municipal water. These filters are powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water, making them perfect for rainwater collection systems. From the smallest to the largest systems, BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com has what you need. With your system purchase, you'll receive a shower filter, a fluoride filter, or 2 sport Berkey bottles absolutely free. BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com would like to offer GCN listeners 5% off all ceramic filter systems and ship all orders over $50 free of charge. Visit BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. Or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY today.
You have a mortgage and a load of other debt. Wouldn't it be great if it all just went away? No More Mortgage can change your life.
We paid off all of our bills.
All your debt, including your mortgage, in as little as 9 years?
With No More Mortgage, we will have saved over $313,000 in interest payments.
Even have more money left over each month?
It lowered our monthly payments by a little over $500.
No More Mortgage.
Where have they been all of our life?
If you knew about something like that, you'd want to tell everybody.
Whenever I have a friend or someone that needs this service, I give them the number.
I'm Larry Ruff, president of No More Mortgage. This is unlike anything you have ever seen before, and it will absolutely not harm your credit. Call for your free CD. Learn how you can eliminate all your debt, including your mortgage, much sooner than you ever dreamed possible. The more debt you have, the more we can help.
Call for your free CD now, 800-578-6279.
This works. Call the number.
Call now for your free CD, 800-578-6279. 800-578-6279.
We will not be forgotten. We won't be left behind.
Our guest is going to be with us 5 minutes into the next hour. Then I'm going to open the phones up and cover news. In the final hour, I'm going to get into Glenn Beck because he is the leader of the Tea Party movement. He is bigger than Rush Limbaugh now with his radio and TV show. There's no doubt. But he is calling for new taxes, and it's a very dangerous situation. And so we're going to discuss it because I heard him doing some things yesterday and today. It's just this guy, my gut, everything he does tells me look out, because it's the Republican Party trying to maneuver the revolution of awakening and to control it for the status quo of big government and corporate looting. And I'm going to break that down coming up. Also, more on the flu. Mr. Bloom, I interrupted you 30 minutes ago when you tried to get into the flu fraud. And now it's openly all over the newspapers, at least in Europe and the U.S., but I haven't seen much in England. I've seen some in England in the Telegraph. I mean, major government officials are saying, yes, this was a premeditated fraud and the vaccine was dangerous. The German government wouldn't take it. Their military wouldn't take it. I mean, this is quite a scandal.
Yes, in fact, you're a little bit ahead of me, I have to say, Alex, because I've been in France now for 2 or 3 days, so you're ahead of me. But it's still being, when I left, it was still being the flu. We were still peddling the flu, would you believe, to babies in between 6 months and 5 years old. It's still being, and basically the inference in the advert is that if you don't do it, basically you're a bad parent. I mean, it's quite strong stuff, Alex. It's quite strong stuff. Oh, they're
still advertising it here, too, with the exact same pitch. It's just that simultaneously they say this is the biggest flop ever. People aren't taking it in Europe. They're not taking it here. And it's rotting on the shelves. And it's coming out that it was just a giant hoax.
Well, the British Medical Journal here has condemned it. And I did write a parliamentary question to say, they keep saying people are dying of swine flu. They've been saying, there isn't a single recorded death in the United Kingdom of swine flu. Would you believe? Not a single one. I asked a parliamentary question. There's not a single one. So it's interesting how this scam has been moved forward. And what is another interesting thing, of course, is it not, this is a big money-making scam for the pharmaceutical companies, but they have been absolved of their responsibility to do the due diligence that most pharmaceutical drugs need to do.
Well, they were given governmental liability protection because it was a global pandemic, but we now learn the UN changed its rules for pandemic to give it that liability protection.
Yes, absolutely, and this is how you get these frauds start. It's all, I think we had this conversation before. Follow the money, Alex. You'll normally find when you get to the root of it, it's about money. Somebody's got their hand in the till. It's either politicians or pharmaceutical company or bankers. How on earth we got ourselves into this mess over bankers laughing at us now, laughing at us with their big houses and their posh cars as we've bailed them out, all over the world. How could we be this stupid? I mean, where did it come from?
Well, again, I think what our founding fathers did here in the United States, you look at the Magna Carta and the Parliament Act, it took decades for people in history to get the basic liberties that we fought for. And so I think people need to understand the long view of history. So many people demand instant gratification. They're not happy with the government, but they then just stand down and throw their hands up. That's not the answer. We've got to claw back every bit of freedom we can, and that's how these wars for freedom are won.
You're absolutely right. There's one or two things, if you don't mind me being a little bit parochial, Alex. For example, Friends of the Earth, a big charity in Europe, the World Wildlife Fund, Climate Action Network. Friends of the Earth were given €800,000 last year. World Wildlife Fund, 661.
Tell you what, Mr. Bloom, we're doing 5 more minutes. We're back in 1 minute as we go into the next hour.